The second biggest thing I would say is really the timing of what we eat. So the quality of our food is number one, but the timing of that is almost equally important. And when I think about this, I just think about what we did thousands of years ago, for millennia. Did we wake up in the morning and immediately start shoving breakfast into our mouths? Of course not. Like, we didn't even have anything. There was no such thing as a pantry. There was not a refrigerator. There was not, a convenience store or drive-through or anything like that. We literally took a few hours, maybe even the better part of the day, trying to either find food that we could gather and eat or go on a hunt. Like, we could not just eat the moment we rolled out of bed. And so I don't believe that our bodies were designed to eat 24 hours a day. In fact, the studies right now show that about 16 to 18 hours a day, most of us in the US are putting some form of calories or food into our mouths. That's just too much. So what I would say to that is, for most people, like, you don't have to feel like you got to go on these super ridiculous, 2-hour window feedings that some people are familiar with, like the 1 meal a day plan, the OMAD diet or whatever. Like, that's a little bit too extreme. I personally, my goal for every single day is to have at least a 12-hour window where I'm not eating. 8 of those hours already accounted for while I'm sleeping. So that's easy. Then I just have a couple hours on each end of that. My goal is try to not go to bed within about 3 hours of having food, because it'll mess up your sleep anyway. You're going to have poor quality sleep if you eat right before you hit the sack. Plus, you need to give your body some time to digest. Digestion is energy intensive, and you need to have some time to do that. And you need to have a break so that all that beautiful process of the lymphatic system and the refresh, the rejuvenate, the flushing that happens, the autophagy that everybody likes to talk about, all that stuff doesn't even happen unless we've been fasting for a certain period of time, somewhere between 12 and 16 hours. So overnight, I believe everybody should be able to accomplish a 12-hour window of not eating, and then maybe add to that a couple hours on either end if you want to really get the best benefits from that. It doesn't have to be extreme, though. I think too many people are looking for like 16, 18, these real long windows of not eating. And I think it's too much for many people, especially for women. Hormonally, women have different, issues with these longer fasts. And so I just shoot for 12 hours. And I think that's achievable from almost everybody I've worked with.
Hey, this is Ari. I hope you enjoyed this little clip. And if you want to listen to the full-length podcast, the link for that is down in the description below. Also, one more thing before you go, I want to mention, in case you don't already know about it, our formula, Energenesis. This is an amazing product that has multiple compounds in it that are scientifically proven in numerous studies to increase your energy levels, not just by 3% or 5% or 10%, but by 30 or 40 or 50% in a very, very short time frame. So one of these compounds that I'll mention here is called NT-factor phospholipid, and it is an extract of phospholipids that comes from lecithin, and they extract the pure phospholipids from this, things like phosphatidylcholine, phosphatidylethanolamine, and many others. And these are the same fatty acid compounds, phospholipid compounds, that compose our cell membranes and mitochondrial membranes. And this specific patented formula has been shown actually to enter into the bloodstream undigested, basically, without being broken down and denatured through the digestive process in the stomach and the intestines. It makes it into the bloodstream and actually makes it all the way to our cells and to our mitochondria, where it helps repair damaged mitochondrial membranes and facilitates our mitochondria functioning better. Now, all of that sounds like wonderful theory, and it sounds like it could be beneficial, but the real test is, has it actually been studied and been proven to increase your energy levels? And the answer is yes, absolutely. There are numerous studies outlined in a wonderful paper by a scientist named Garth Nicholson in a paper called Lipid Replacement Therapy. I highly recommend checking this out if you're interested in digging into the research. But this compound has been studied in the context of multiple different kinds of chronic fatigue. Aging-related chronic fatigue, obesity-related chronic fatigue, obscure things like Gulf War illness, and numerous studies in chronic fatigue syndrome. And there are studies showing that this has the capability. They've taken one study, in fact, actually showed that in elderly adults over the age of 65, it restored their mitochondrial health, which had deteriorated heavily. It restored it to the level of healthy 29-year-olds, believe it or not. And they've actually measured energy levels in these people. And all of these studies across the board show improvements in energy of at least 25% and typically more like 35 to 45% in just the span of between 4 to 12 weeks. That's how long all of these studies are, 4 to 12 weeks. They're showing dramatic, huge improvements in energy levels by helping to repair these mitochondrial membranes through this thing called lipid replacement therapy, using, again, this patented form of a phospholipid extract called NT factor. This is just one of about 20 ingredients proven to benefit mitochondrial health that you'll find in my formula Energenesis. So I strongly encourage you, if you are struggling with your energy levels, if you're dealing with chronic fatigue, go grab yourself a bottle or 3 of this, or subscribe and save. Try it out. You are going to be blown away by the results. We get so many testimonials. We get so many emails from people talking about how this one thing has transformed their lives. So I cannot encourage you strongly enough to give this a shot. And let's say you buy 3 bottles, try out the first one, give it a month. And if you don't notice significant improvements, you can return the unopened bottles to us for a full refund. So give it a shot. I really think you're going to be blown away by the results. The formula is called Energenesis, and you can get it at theenergyblueprint.com or click the link below. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll talk to you again very soon.